What's up, fitness friends? Coach Andres with the Strength Cave. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the 5 biggest mistakes I see people make when dieting and how you can avoid them to ensure that you're reaching your goals. Before we get started, do me a favor, make sure you're clicking the button below and that you're subscribed to this channel. Give me a follow on Instagram. That way you're the first to know about all of my educational videos. More and more these days, it seems that everybody and their grandma is trying to lose a few pounds. And with so many diets out there to choose from, you would think that having success with dieting is all but guaranteed. But unfortunately, most people end up falling well short of their goals and end up feeling really confused and frustrated by the whole dieting process. If you're one of those people, I have some good news. Most of the time, the difference between having success and failing in your diet comes down to a few simple mistakes that you may have overlooked. Mistake number 1 is being too restrictive with your diet. Most popular diets these days work by eliminating certain foods or food groups, but this can create an all or nothing mentality when it comes to the foods that you include in your diet. You wind up spending a lot of time obsessing over and trying your hardest to avoid the foods that you're not allowed to eat. But eventually, your willpower sort of runs out and you end up indulging until your heart's content. This can leave you disheartened and make you sort of give up on the whole process of dieting altogether. To avoid this, you'll still want to make a point to identify the most calorie-dense foods in your diet and do your best to reduce them, but you'll still want to enjoy some of those foods in moderation from time to time, so that way you don't end up going crazy and binging on them later on. Along that same vein, the second mistake that I see people make all the time with their diet is being too aggressive with their calorie deficit. When it comes to dieting, patience is a virtue. When your calorie deficit is just way too large, your body ends up fighting back against you pretty hard. Your hunger becomes really unmanageable, your energy levels are tanked, and your cognitive abilities are basically non-existent. You likely can't last very long under these conditions, and so you end up having to cut your diet short and fall way short of your dieting goals as a result. To avoid this, be smart with your calorie deficit up front. A good rule of thumb would be to lose about 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week, and then sort of evaluate how you're feeling and decide whether you need to slow down or whether you can handle speeding up the process. Which brings me to mistake number 3, which is being too impatient and impulsive. You might think that weight loss should happen in a linear fashion, but unfortunately that's just not the case. Your daily weight is going to fluctuate up and down on a daily basis, and plateaus are bound to happen. When you encounter these things, the worst thing you could do is react by making big sweeping changes to your diet plan. This just leads to more frustration with the process and can make it really hard for you to evaluate whether something is actually working in your diet. Instead, what you want to do is stay patient and allow things to work themselves out over a longer period of time. When things aren't going quite according to your plan, give yourself at least a week and probably up to 2 weeks to see the long-term progression in what's going on. After that time, if you see that things still aren't working out for you, then you can make some changes and try to get things going in the right direction. Mistake number 4 that I see people make is only using the scale to measure progress. Like I said before, your weight is going to fluctuate from day to day throughout your diet. And those fluctuations can be caused by tons of things that have nothing to do with body fat. It's actually possible for you to be improving your body composition even though you don't see the number on the scale going down. So if all you're ever doing is relying on what the scale tells you, then you might incorrectly think that your diet isn't working when in reality you're making great progress. To avoid this mistake, try implementing 1 or 2 other tools that you can use to measure your progress over time. You could do this by measuring your body fat percentage, taking tape measurements of different areas of your body, taking progress photos along the way, and even taking note of how your clothes are fitting you. You can then use the data that you get from these other progress measuring tools and compare it to what you're seeing on the scale and kind of decide from there which one is telling the more complete story. And the fifth and possibly biggest mistake I see people make when dieting is not having an exit strategy. Imagine working tirelessly for months trying to reach your dieting goals only to lose all of your progress and wind up right back where you started. Sadly, this is a reality for a lot of people who diet these days. You pay so much attention to how you set up your diet and what dieting tactics you're going to use, but you give very little attention to what you're going to do when you reach your goal and the diet is over. To avoid letting all of your hard work go to waste, you have to find a way to transition from the dieting phase into a maintenance phase. Of course, this means finding and setting up your calories at your new maintenance level. But it's not just about how many calories you're eating. It also means continuing to exercise regularly, being mindful with your eating, continuing to be smart with your portion sizes, and so on. Remember, all of the habits that you used to reach your dieting goals are the same habits that are going to allow you to keep all of the progress you've made and maintain your results. And that's it for today, friends. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you're subscribed, clicking that button below. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. That way you guys are the first to know about all these educational videos. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys next time.